guys, so today you join me from the driver's seat of a 1989 Nissan S13. Firstly, a massive thank you to the owner Tim for letting me take his pride and joy out for a review today. Now this car has a fantastic backstory to it. A lot of sentimental value in this one. He was actually bought this car as a 10-year-old by his father from the scrapyard. This was saved 10 years ago from being crushed. So as a 10-year-old he couldn't really do a lot with it, but it meant that he could cherish the car and build it to what it is today. Now this actually meant that he was able to take the car, do bits he wanted to it when it was time, and actually form a business out of this car as well, which is called Cross Auto Restorations. I will put links in the description, but this car has formed a huge life-changing bond for Tim, and I must honestly praise that so much. Cars do change lives big time, and this is a prime example of it. So this one being a 1989, it's the 200 SX. It still has the CA18 DET engine in it, but it's been fully worked over, it's been fully restored back to its original form of glory. Now, I've got to admit, after driving this car for about 5 minutes, although it's set up very well, it just wants to go sideways, it really does. And although the owner hasn't built it for drift, it's built for drift, this thing. The camber on the front is absolutely hilarious. It means the car darts around the road a little bit. The welded diff on the back just skips the car along, and on the motorway you're sort of fighting it going in a straight line, which is pretty cool. I appreciate that, because that's the point of driving one of these. It's the excitement and the fun of being a little bit different, a little bit sketchy, don't get me wrong, but in a bloody cool way. As well as the CA18 in this car, it has a custom T28 turbocharger on it, and by the shot that I'm going to put overlay right now, look how clean the bay is. He's done such a good job at just preserving what is a well-built classic car. You know, being 28 years old now, this thing, it still drives as well as you want it to. It boosts so well as well. You can show this some B roads if you've got the balls for it, but you better hang on, I tell ya, because it darts all over the road, but in such a cool way. Its dartiness does make it really lively, this car, and that's why I love these S13s. They're so lively to drive once you know, put a bit of jiggery pokery through the alignment. Now the way this car's been aligned is quite funny. The camber is pretty much completely maxed out on the front. You've got the welded diff on the back, so it makes for quite exciting driving feel in this one. Now although I will not be drifting this car, it means way too much to the owner. You can tell that this thing just wants to go sideways, especially with, you know, 260 brake horsepower from the CA18. It comes on boost, 4,000 RPM, very, very strongly. And like, this harks back to when I had mine. If you guys remember, I had an S13 with the SR20 in it, and it felt like this. Not dodgy, but exciting to drive. Completely different driving experience from what you're going to get from any other car, and that's, I think, what's probably pushing the price of these up as well. We've got to talk about price on these. These are absolutely going through the roof at the moment. You try and find an unmolested one with, you know, a standard bodywork like this one. This has had, you know, a respray, and it's had various bits and bobs put on it, but it's still the original bodywork. It hasn't been cut up, it hasn't been, you know, destroyed in any way. And I think this is, you know, a restoration of S13s. This is how they should be. You can still go and enjoy it. You can still drop a gear and plant it. It still just destroys the rear tyres as well. Them 17-inch by 9.5-inch wheels, doing the best they can in this weather, because it is pretty terrible weather at the moment. But it just makes it so much fun. And if you've never driven something with a welded diff even coming out of a junction like that, it just skips the rear wheel in a hilarious fashion. It makes for such good driving feel, and just it's the nostalgia of stuff like this, because I love little cars like this put a huge smile on your face. The stage 3 clutch as well isn't actually too bad in this car. Don't get me wrong, it's grabby when you're coming out of a junction or wherever, but that's probably down to the welded diff. It's actually relatively comfortable in comparison to some of the other, you know, stage 3 clutches that I've driven. Oh wow! You better have both hands on the steering wheel, I tell you, because it will go sideways, it will brake traction very easily. So guys, let's have a quick look around this 1989 Nissan S13. Now, saved from a scrapyard 10 years ago now, bought by his dad, and then obviously restored to former glory after being, you know, a little bit rusty from the scrapyard. Saved from being scrapped though. This is just an awesome story. But the car itself is the 1989. It has the CA18 DET engine in it as well, the original engine that came with the car, but it's been hyped up a bit. You've got the T26 turbocharger running 15 psi, around 260 brake horsepower in this one. Still original body styling now, although this car's been resprayed, it's been, you know, restored to how it should look. Still got the pig nose front bumper on there, original sort of chassis with the wings, the bonnet, obviously the aero catches cut into the bonnet there, all original doors, you know, a bit of work on the rear end as would be expected in something sort of this age. Car was very clean prior to this shoot as well, but obviously I've been out enjoying it. This part, it's been there since day one, so it's staying there, and I like that. A little bit of patina in something that you wouldn't really find patina on. You've got a 3-inch all the way through decatted system to a back box on this one as well. Coming around the back, just appreciating the lines and stuff of an original S13 is sort of unheard of these days. A lot of them, you know, have been completely cut up, you know, wide arched, all this sort of stuff. This one's, you know, pretty much still original on the old bodywork side, and as you can see, it's in such good condition as well, bar be it a little bit dirty from the shoot. So original, so cool. The front camber though, I just got to point out, the front camber is hilarious. Obviously makes for a bit more of an exciting drive with the front camper being like that, but oh, it's gorgeous looking car. Pop-up headlights as well, you know how it is. Coming inside the car, again, completely, you know, standard-ish. You got a couple of gauges just up the top there, Momo dish steering wheel. The whole interior has been resprayed in orange as well, quite a cool contrast from the white paint outside. The actual cage itself has been built by the owner himself, so all the door bar down here all going up, the ladder work coming around to the back with the bracing at the back of the car. Such a good job as well. Huge shout out to the owner for just following it through and, you know, restoring this car, but, you know, having it the way he wanted it to be. You know, original seating, you know, still a comfy car, but just so well built. Very impressed with it. Coming under the bonnet though, the pièce de résistance of this car, honestly look how clean this bay is. The original CA18 DET engine, T28 turbocharger, front mounted intercooler, coilovers and everything. The wheel tubs are just done so well. As you can see, all of the work carried out by the owner himself, done to a very high specification as well. The car runs as it should, boosts as it should, and looks the absolute nuts as well. Unbelievable work under here, getting it this clean, and the orange as well I think pops really well with the white, especially in the bay. Just coming around the car, it's got no dents, no horrible blemishes at all. Still rocking the original Nissan front bumper there as well, cool little stamp in there. You just don't see cars like this anymore, and it's nice for me to change the pace a bit on the channel and bring something that's, you know, it's a restored, you know, 28-year-old S13. I've got big love for it, really do, because you just don't see it. You really do not see these cars in this condition these days, and something that I think the owner will cherish forever is, you know, the fact that it needs to stay like this. I think destroying this by, you know, wide arching it and stuff would just be such a shame. So keeping it this way would be the way I'd do it as well. Leave a comment below if you think any differently, but
restored S13, I'd say. And to finish off this part of the video, this is actually what the underside of the car looks like. So you can see just how well this car is kept up together. A picture been sent over by the owner there, checking it over last night. But you can sort of get a gist as to how clean this car is and how well it's been built. You know, everything painted up underneath as well.
Absolutely, what an awesome, well set up car, honestly, hats off to the owner. This surge of boost even in third gear, oh, built so well, still comfy as well. You got the standard seats, it's like got an interior as well. It's such a good place to be. You could really enjoy this car, I think. It's been built with quite a simple thing in mind, that you want to keep the refinement of a nice classic S13. Classic body lines, you know, yeah, it's got orange inside, all this sort of stuff, but that's down to owner's discretion. I think it actually looks quite good. The 6-point cage as well, built by Tim himself. I've got massive respect for that. Honestly, I really do. Respect is given where it's due, where you're rebuilding, you know, from scratch a car that's been sat in a scrapyard. 10 years on, I'm driving it around after all of the hard work that he's put into it. I think we can all agree that that's how you should be building cars. You find something that, you know, maybe given to you, you don't know. And I don't think as a 10-year-old he would have really thought, yeah, this is the way I'm going to have it, this is the way it's going to be built. But it's formed, you know, as a 20-year-old now, he's been able to start a business from this car and just enjoy having this in his life. And he said he's going to be buried with this car, so it's never going to be for sale either. And pop-up headlights, the best thing ever about an S13 is the pop-up headlights. That's just how it is. I love a good car with pop-up headlights, and this being one of, you know, only a handful of S13s I've ever driven, has to be the nicest one I've ever been in. It's such a refined place to be. Yeah, you've got, you know, the back seats still in it and stuff, but it's refined, it's comfortable, and it's all down to Tim for doing it. So massive hats off to Tim. If you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I'm going to go and enjoy this car a little bit more on my drive back. What an awesome product, what an awesome story. The perfect S13 in my books. Make sure you head over to fydapparel.com, cop yourself some FYD merch to support the channel, and I'll see you all on the next video. Cheers guys.